Well, coming off his first career XC1 win, Jordan Ashburn looks poised to close out the last few rounds of the season and take the national championship. He's got the points lead. Can he keep it going here in round 10? GNCC on MAV TV starts now.
Are you ready to go? GNCC Racing!
Well, hello and welcome to round number 10 of the Grand National Cross Country Racing Series here in Beckley, West Virginia for the Rocky Mountain ATV MC Mountaineer GNCC. Our salute to our first responders. Mikey Waynes here. I'll be taking you through today's racing action, and we begin with the specialized race recap. Iconic snowshoe, those staggered starts as we pay tribute to the Blackwater 100 all those years ago. The iconic, I'm not overusing the word Howard's Hole. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. Saw some great battles in this one, some great racing out of Ricky Russell, who led a pretty good portion of this one. Saw some great riding right there by Josh Toth as well. There is the 212 Gas, Coastal Racing Gas of Ricky Russell doing work. Saw some great riding out of Craig DeLong. DeLong really blossoming as a pro rider, starting to see some great and consistent rides out of Craig DeLong. That man right there, the number 3, got the towels on the hand grips. This one was a mutter, make no mistake about it. This was the big boy race. But Jordan Ashburn, always so consistent in these races, and sits poised to take the points lead in the season. How about this pass right here? Oh, banging bars. Let's go. Rough and rowdy at the GNCC snowshoe. This section right here, I'm telling you, great shot right there, but does not quite do that section justice. Little trouble for the Coastal Racing Gas ride of Ricky Russell. Was able to get back on the machine. Ended up taking a second place on the day. So big congratulations to him. The man there to capitalize late, Jordan Ashburn, the number 3 Magna 1 Motorsports Husqvarna, able to move into the lead, and he would stay there. Craig DeLong, again, solid ride out of him. But as the checkered flag was ready to fly again, the Magna 1 Motorsports Husqvarna of Jordan Ashburn bringing it in for his first win and the national championship points lead. What a great ride. Celebrations all around for Jordan Ashburn. Had a chance to catch up with him after the race.
Long time coming. I think this is my 10th year in XC1, and we've been looking for it for years, and we've really put it together this year and just been clicking off podiums, and we've been close so many times, and it just feels so good to get it, especially at this venue. I always like this track, and you know, me and Ricky, man, he had the lead all day, and I just was able to reel in the last lap, and it was an epic day. Like, conditions were unreal, and man, I'm so pumped.
Well, I tell you what, not only do you get your first win, but if my calculations are correct, this should put you in the points lead heading into this summer break and into the final 4 races of 2022.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate for Ben to go out, like get hurt like he did earlier in the year, but you know, we knew what we could do, and these last 4 races, we just knew we needed to be on the podium, and come in today, I needed a first or a second to try to take the points lead going into the rest of the season, and man, it feels so good to get the win and do that.
So we take a look at the results from round 9 at Snowshoe. Ashburn with the win. Ricky Russell took second, and from the XC2 class, Johnny Gerard taking the 3rd place overall position. So a couple gas rides in there with the Magna 1 Husqvarna. We fast forward to today. Ricky Towery with the waving of the green flag, and we are off and rolling for the All Balls Racing hole shot in the XC1 Open Pro class. Oh, Jordan Ashburn getting a little sideways. Oh, and the 212 Coastal Racing Gas of Ricky Russell capitalizes, snags that hole shot and the early lead into the woods. And into the woods we go. Still Russell out in front. Looked like Ashburn there in the 2 spot. It is Ashburn. How about that? Your points leader. That's the reason for the reverse plate right there. Great start for Thad Duvall as well, sitting in the 3 spot. Welcome back to Thad Duvall. Going to be interesting to see how he does here toward the end of the season. We're cut out for Lane Michael and Grant Baylor toward the back of the pack there as we turn our attention to the XC2 250 Pro Am class. The Stasic Hole Shot Award up for grabs. Liam Draper with a good drive right there. Little checkup from the neck up. Says, hey, how you doing to Johnny Gerard there in the 2 spot. Great start for them. And how about it for Evan Smith sitting there in the 3 position as the 35 goes down. But boy, solid start for Liam Draper. Check these guys out in the woods. Still the 198 Thiele Energy KTM of Draper in the 1 spot and Gerard in 2nd. Draper, he's got these starts dialed this season. He's been spectacular as far as the starts are concerned, but I got to think he's been off the box a lot more than he is comfortable with. I think just 2 podiums this season, a couple of 3rd place finishes. So we'll see if he can put things together here in these last few rounds. Certainly a great start for him here this afternoon. Turn our attention now to the FMF XC3, the 125s. Listen to him. LoJack Cycle Sales Hole Shot Award up for grabs. How about it? The 575 Yamaha. Zachary Garris leading the pack and will take the hole shot. Had some heat from Max Fernandez and the 393 of Eli Childers, but able to hang on for the lead as we're back out front with Ricky Russell leading the way. The 212 Coastal Racing Gas. Saw some great riding as you saw in the previous race at Snowshoe. Wasn't able to capture the win, but still solid ride. Still have Ashburn in the 2 spot. Different line choice for him. And where is Stu Baylor? No signs of Baylor. Not the best start for Craig DeLong, but we know he'll be trucking and moving. And still no signs of Stu Baylor unless I missed him. No, there is Baylor. So Stu Baylor got his work cut out for him. Can Ricky Russell grab a win? Can Ashburn maintain the championship's points lead? We'll be right back with more after this.
Coverage of the Grand National Cross Country Championship on MAV TV is brought to you in part by Specialized E-Turbo Bikes. It's you, only faster. And by Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. Get ready.
Welcome back to GNCC here on MAV TV, the Mountaineer GNCC, and still out in front, it is the 212 Coastal Racing Gas of Ricky Russell, and solid start for him in this one. And riders still pretty well grouped together in this one. Ricky Russell, though, I got to hand it to him. Got a bit of a gap between him and the rest of the pack, so we'll see how it plays out as it rolls on here. But again, just stellar start for Ricky Russell in this one. Ricky coming off that great ride in Snowshoe where he led a significant portion of that race, but ended up in the 2 spot when the day was done. Taking a look at the season for Russell, been some ups and downs for him. Had the injury early in the year, missed a couple of rounds. He had a 2nd place in round 7. He had his first win of the season back in round number 8 prior to Snowshoe, and then of course coming off the box with a 2nd place finish at Snowshoe, just behind Jordan Ashburn. So as we roll on here again, different line choices for the pro riders. Got a couple different sections. Will it pay off for you? That's a big question with the split lines right there. So again, Ricky Russell on screen. You can see not super muddy this round, but certainly muddy in some low parts. So keeping our eyes on that. But again, look at the lead. Look at the gap for Ricky Russell in this one. Just an impressive ride by him early in this one, doing all the right things here in round number 10. And got to keep our eyes on the rest of the pack. Of course, Josh Strang not racing this weekend, but Stu Baylor had the rough start for him, was toward the back of the pack, starting to chip away at this one. But All eyes on Ricky Russell out in front. And, of course, Ben Kelly not racing after the injury. He's out for the season. And we take a look here. Craig DeLong, decent ride going for him. He's starting to chip away in this one. As well as, again, as we mentioned, Thad Duvall, Grant Baylor out there. Stu Baylor with some struggles early in this one. But we'll see if he can get it dialed. But, again, there he goes. That Coastal Racing gas rider, Ricky Russell. Camera's got time to pan back, and we just wait with bated breath on the rest of the pack to check in. Who's going to challenge Ricky Russell? And how about it? There you go. Magna One Motorsports. Jordan Ashburn moves into the 2 spot. Ashburn coming off that big win at Snowshoe and holding the points lead here this season. Or toward the end of the season, I should say, as Craig DeLong in the back of that pack right there. Seen some great riding out of DeLong, as we'd mentioned earlier in the broadcast. DeLong, let's talk about him for a second. I think he is inching his way. You know, I think it was a situation for Craig DeLong where he was fighting for podiums. And now I think Craig DeLong is inching toward that point where he's going to be fighting for wins. This season, maybe not, but he's doing all the right things. Great training program for Craig DeLong. And I think as we move into the end of this season, and especially into 2023, I cannot help but think you got to keep your eyes on Craig DeLong. Good shot of Liam Draper right there out of that XC2 class, up in with the XC1 boys. Draper having a great ride here today. But again, DeLong, I don't know, just something feels right. DeLong, I think, is ready to start throwing his name in the hat to start fighting for some of these race wins. So we'll just have to see. Oh, and he goes down. I think that is Johnny Gerard right there going down, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to cost. It is Gerard. Rider's covered in mud right there, but just got a little slick as he came through, drops a position. But Gerard, man, that man is absolutely resilient. You know he's going to be back up into the fight in this one. So Ricky Russell, rough and rowdy, doing his thing, leading this one out front. A couple of our riders, 2 or 3 of them right there, going to take a little break and watch the pros come through. If you've never watched a GNCC, if you've never been to a GNCC, that is one of the elements of the pro race. If you think Supercross, Pro Motocross, the outdoor series, the pros are out there, your 450 class, your 250 class. With GNCC, 3 hours, these guys are out there on the racetrack, racing against one another in their own class, but you've also got the other classes, your XC2 250 Pro, your XC3 FMF 125 Pro-Am, but then you've got all of your amateur A and B classes out there as well. Great ride by Thad Duvall. Welcome back to GNCC for that man. A 989 Rockstar Husky having a great day out here. But again, with it being 3 hours, with there being the amateur classes out there, lap traffic, something these guys have to deal with as the race wears on, especially once you get over that hour and a half into that 2 hour and 3 hour mark, can be a factor. You got some tight race course through the woods, can be difficult sometimes. You're not able to either get around the lap traffic. Looks like Jordan Ashburn finally starting to chip away at that lead that Ricky Russell has, so maybe we'll get to see a battle here in this one. So far been the Ricky Russell show. But again, back to the point of racing with the lap traffic, something unique with GNCC, right? As our rider's going to come in here to the pits, we're going to get our eyes on Ricky Russell ripping down Pro Row into the Coastal Racing gas pits, and should just be business as usual. Going to get some fresh fuel. Going to get some fuel, should say. I hope it's fresh. The IMS Quick Fill right there. Ricky Russell with a new set of goggles. Get the hands cleaned off with a towel, little rehydration, and back to work. Ashburn into the Magna One Motorsports Husqvarna pits right there. Business as usual for him. Almost an identical pit stop for Ashburn. Some fuel, some goggles, and get those hands in, those grips dried off. So important. Man, if you see these guys, sometimes they'll post a picture. If we especially get a mutter, got to think when we're down in Florida, the sands of Florida, another element, hands just get torn up. Hey, GNCC, more than just the XC1 pros out of the bike side of things. We also have EMTB Racing. So the Mountaineer GNCC played host to another round of EMTB Racing. And Charlie Mullins, Nick Mackey, Cypress Gorey, all going to battle here at the Mountaineer GNCC. EMTB Racing taking GNCC by storm. Huge shout out, Specialized, the presenting sponsor of the GNCC Racing Series over the last couple of years, and taking that checkered flag. How about it, Cypress Gorey in that pro class? And what the rain came down too. I mean, it had drizzled off and on all weekend, but these guys had it the toughest. Your national champ, though, Charlie Mullins.
Charlie Mullins, everyone.
Coverage of the Grand National Cross Country Championship on MAV TV is brought to you in part by Specialized E-Turbo Bikes. It's you, only faster. And by RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
And we welcome you back to a replay. This is the Specialized Instant Replay. This is the Ricky Russell pit. There at the Coastal Racing Gas team. Now keep your eye on the IMS quick fill. That fuel line not moving. That's why we're showing you the replay. Did not catch that during the live broadcast, but trouble for Ricky Russell. Now the GNCC rules on this for the pro class. If a pro rider, thought that might have been it right there. Is it? No, Ricky Russell's still able to keep going, but he's got pressure from Stu Baylor and Jordan Ashburn in this one. Again, back to that rule. If you are a pro rider, you run out of fuel, you are allowed to take enough fuel to get you back to the pro pits where you can then refuel completely. So Ricky Russell just pins and needles right now. You're gutted for him. He had such a stellar race going, but that little mistake, I don't know if it was with the quick fill itself, something wrong with the fuel tank, something happened there, and he was unable to take fuel. So how much of the bleeding is going to happen right here? There you go. Different line choice there by the big 514 Am Pro Yamaha. Stu Baylor, will it pay off? Will we see a new leader here? Boy, couldn't see Ricky Russell at the bottom of the screen, but I think it's going to be Stu Baylor out in front now, and got to think Jordan Ashburn's not going to be too far behind him. Let's see where Ashburn is at. There is Ashburn in the 2 spot. Little dab by Ashburn right there, but keeps it on 2 wheels. And Ricky Russell able to maintain in the 3 spot. See what Thad Duvall in the 4 spot's got for him. The 989 Rockstar Energy Husqvarna around Ricky Russell. Ricky Russell down. Is he out? Is that it on fuel? No, he's still moving. But boy, your heart just aches for Ricky Russell in this situation. But hey, let's talk about this man, the 514 Am Pro Yamaha. A season of ups and downs, more downs than ups. Had the injury, did not race rounds, I believe, 2 through round 8. We saw him at Snowshoe. He was able to put it on the box with a 3rd place finish. Hard to believe, round number 10 of 13 could be the first win of the season for Stu Baylor. Rides of redemption here today. How about it for the 989 Rockstar Energy Husqvarna of Thad Duvall, now sitting in the 3 spot. Duvall, another rider who we've not seen race since, I believe, round 1. Faced injuries as well. Coming into round 10 after the summer break. Let's see if Thad Duvall can put it on the box. And here we go. Stu Baylor. Baylor Heavy, the 514 Am Pro Yamaha rider, going to come in here for his first win of the season. And I got to think that man is going to be all smiles in this one. Celebrating in true Baylor Heavy fashion. We don't need no rear fenders, he says. Getting the congratulations from his wife, Jade, right there. What a ride. Congratulations. First win of the year for Stu Baylor on that Am Pro Yamaha. Had a chance to catch up with him after the race.
Yeah, you know, we had a really rough first lap. We made a tire choice that I was really concerned about after the first 2 laps. You know, we had some fresh stuff out there for our race, and it just wasn't down to that hard base yet, and I swear I couldn't keep it on 2 wheels. I crashed 4 or 5 times, pretty good ones on the first 2 laps, and finally the track polished off, and the tire became the right call. It's the same tire we've won the last 3 years here consecutively. So, I knew it was good. I was just second guessing it with the little bit of rain we haven't seen in the past here. So, once we found our groove, I got hooked up with Johnny, and before the race, Johnny and I were bullshitting, and we were like, "Hey, man, 1 and 2 overall today," and he just came through, so it looked like he dropped back a little bit. But I was hoping we could run right to the front, and finally I got some clear air and got in a train, and happened really quick. I got a pit board -20, -15, and then I was on them at the rock garden, and it looked like Ricky got really tired. Man, this track was extremely physically demanding, but when you're in the shape that I'm in, it's a walk in the park out there.
Well, again, congrats to Stu Baylor. Jordan Ashburn, your points leader, the rider coming off the win at Snowshoe, checks in for a second place finish. Caught up with him as well.
It went pretty good. I got a good start, and just kind of followed Ricky, and he actually ended up getting away that first lap. And man, I was just trying to put together solid laps, and it was tough on this track. And there towards the end, Stu and Thad caught up, and man, it's like we had a train that into that third and that fourth lap, and it hit. I think it hit all of us like a wall. Like, it was just like, man, this is really intense. And we kind of put it back together there, and we all kind of stretched it out just a little bit, and I think I just stayed 10 to 20 seconds behind Stu that last lap, and I'd make a little up and could see him, and then he'd pull back out, and I was just gassed. I was just ready to get in and keep her on 2 wheels.
All right, and taking a look at that top 10 again, the Ampro Yamaha, Stu Baylor taking first, Ashburn on that Magna 1 Husky second, and Thad Duvall rounding out the box on that Rockstar Energy Husky.
Yeah, I mean, the expectations are always high, especially, I've been at Caleb's for 2 months and riding with those guys and matching Johnny and matching Craig, and I know I still have the speed and just got to put it together. And man, just, I rode really good today till the last lap and just made a bonehead mistake and let those guys get away. But yeah, to be third after everything I've been through, this is, man, it feels good.
Now taking a look at the Specialized race recap. Good battle for position, jockeying for position. Jordan Ashburn gets a little sideways right there on the start. Ricky Russell capitalizes, grabs that hole shot and the early lead into the woods. And what a ride by Ricky Russell. By the way, as you saw there, as we were looking at the top 10, he did end the day in a 4th place position, but you just kind of left to wonder what if with regards to the fuel mishap for Ricky Russell. Outside of that, man, throughout most of this race, Russell was pretty sensational, to say the least. But as the race wore on, no surprise to anybody, Stu Baylor gets the axe out. He chips away at this one, and here we go. This is that pit stop we were talking about, and man, just to the naked eye, I'm watching the mechanics area, or the mechanics. I'm watching Ricky Russell. I'm not even paying attention to the IMS fuel tank until we see that replay, and it's like, my goodness, bad things afoot for Ricky Russell. So a heartbreaker there, no doubt about it. But hats off to Stu Baylor. Not the best start to this race for him, but it's 3 hours, right? It's not all about the start. You got to be able to put in the work for all 3 hours. That's exactly what Stu Baylor did. And for the first time in 2022's race season, we see the 514, a Baylor heavy, coming in, grabbing the win, fist in the air, and doing it for the fans, do it for the gram, Stu Baylor. Well, that's going to do it for us. Big congratulations to our top 3. We'll see you next time here on MAV TV. I'm Mikey Waynes. We'll see you at the races.